best. And if a conflict were to occur between Russia and NATO, then the Baltic states would most likely not only become the conventional battlefield, but perhaps also the first territory for nuclear weapons employment since 1945.
They nonetheless believe that nuclear weapons can create unique and irreplaceable psychological effects.
Security situation in the Baltic sub-region can be described as dire at best.
Even more alarming to us in the Baltics is that the Stimson Center's and RAND Corporation scenarios of possible nuclear weapons use in Northern Europe envision tactical strikes primarily on Baltic and Polish territory. NATO-Russian suspicions regarding intent may inadvertently lead to miscalculations, eliciting conflict, and a nuclear response or to a nuclear accident. Now, this is not the Article 5 security guarantee that we desire.
We were driven by the idea that we should take a different angle on security than the ones we always experience in. Because we felt quite often security is conceptualized as a zero-sum game and as a means of confrontation. This is, of course, there is reason for doing this, but we felt we may try something else.
What we suggested was a 5-year freeze for Europe, 5 years where no new and additional nuclear and dual-use platforms are to be deployed to Europe. 5 years where Russia would have to verifiably move its tactical arms, and 5 years for NATO and Russia to negotiate an arms control deal that enhances the security of NATO's easternmost allies and which also takes into account some of Moscow's concerns.
Regional solutions for nuclear-free zones in Europe and around in Europe must be possible. I think it's necessary that the European partners in the European Union and over the European Union our own regime of disarmament with the Russian Federation found.
But the military will be giving advice saying this is a terrible idea, it's making us increasingly suspicious of NATO and that sort of thing.
So if there is a serious political momentum in Eastern Europe towards a push to install such a Baltic Sea region nuclear weapon-free zone, then I think NATO would have to deal with that.
I think that we must not sort of, just quit discussing these initiatives just because it will infuriate the powers, the nuclear powers. Of course it will, because they want to keep their trump card.
Deterrence works, so there is a two-track approach, deterrence and dialogue, and certainly deterrence works.
The elimination of the threat of sort of accidental escalation is critically important.
We need a totally new security narrative, I think.
Pointing to the end point that we have to overcome the system of deterrence.
But it may be unwise to rely purely on a numbers game, for solutions leading to reduction of fear can transcend a mechanistic balance of forces.
We're not going to see a global solution to the insecurity in the Baltic region. I think that's, again, a chimera.
How can we start a discussion with Russia about perhaps realigning some parts of our interests so that we move towards shared interest in the future?